Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is a woman's prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. Our topic is a really cool topic, one that I can't wait to get my teeth stuck into. Stop people pleasing, creating emotional resilience in tough conversations. I'm Caroline Heward, and I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacqueline as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm a TV presenter for USA Global TV and Radio, and I'm also the resident therapist. I am also one of 5 talking heads on the channel, which is Expert Talking Heads. A very warm welcome to our loyal viewers and our friends at E360 TV. And also a warm hello to our usual friends at our normal channels on social media, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. I am always delighted to share this platform with our wonderful panelist, full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. She comes all the way from Canada. She is a TV presenter and has her own show that she hosts twice a month in French. She is an author of bilingual self-help books. She's also a registered nurse. She's a holistic nurse. She's an intuitive and spiritual healer. She invented something called Miracle Mist, which is patent pending, and I'm sure that she'll share a little bit more about that. She is also an advocate for free rights. I warmly welcome our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia, all the way from Canada.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to be here.
Always an absolute pleasure. We have a nice juicy topic today.
Yes, we do. Very.
Please, Reverend Lydia, share a little bit about what you do, and please do mention about your 2 myths that you do, because they're quite unique and I think our audience would be interested.
Yes, well, I'm a reverend in metaphysics, so I do celebrate weddings. I also am an author, self-help books that are called 111 Reflections for Thy Earth Odyssey. I do programs from those books to help you. So I am a spiritual teacher. I help you in your personal transformation, introspection, mindfulness, and compassionate self-discovery. I invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sense of sacred connection. I am the inventor of the Miracle Mist, which is a mist that elevates your vibrations. So if you want to carry a ritual, if you want to cleanse your house from spirits, if you think you have ghosts in your house, so I suggest that you actually have some Miracle Mist in your house, because it elevates the vibrations and chases the ghost, actually. I am also a program ambassador for USA Global TV and Radio. So if you want to have your show on USA Global TV and Radio, either in English, in French, or whatever language you want to have, you can communicate with me. You can communicate with me. You can communicate with me, and I will be very, very happy actually to direct you to Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. She is our devoted, you know, she is the one that started the station. She is the owner of the station. And she is the one actually that you will be in contact with through me. So I suggest you go and do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. And please do follow up on some of the things that Reverend Lydia shares, and please do follow up with her miracle myths and what they do, because I've heard great things when we've had our private conversations. So for me, I'm known as the Harley Street stress expert, and I help people bust their stress. I do that through working with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects, and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, behaviorally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptoms. So somebody might be saying, oh, I'm not stressed, but then in the next moment, they're complaining about not being able to sleep, or a physical ache and pain, or a relationship issue, or they're feeling very angry about something. So that is how the stress is manifesting in their lives. And I help identify the root cause of where it first became an issue within their blueprint. I also do lunch and learn talks online and in person, and I'm a speaker. I've been a speaker since 2016, both at live events on stage and also online. I'm also, and I've remembered the title of the book because I keep forgetting it, I am co-author, so one of 10 authors of Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck's second Amazon bestseller, From Adversity to Awesome. In that book, I share there's one chapter, and it shares where I moved from adversity in terms of bereavement and losing my father, and all sorts of things along the journey that moved me into a place of being awesome. I also wish to share that, I don't know whether you'll be able to see this very well, have I got it in the right place? This is one of Dr. Jacqueline's latest books. I know she's a complete crazy author that's writing all sorts of amazing books in a very quick time. But this is one of the books that I am featured in terms of the shows that I've been part of on the channel, as I've been part of the incredible journey that Dr. Jacqueline has done in creating broadcasting brilliance on USA Global TV and radio. If you've not got the book, please do buy it from Amazon, and Dr. Jacqueline will share a link with you on how to purchase it. Let's move now into our topic. Stop people pleasing, creating emotional resilience in tough conversations. This is something that I have seen that many people are challenged with. Many people seem to be struggling with people pleasing. It may have gone through different iterations. And when I was younger, it wasn't called people pleasing. That as we've got older and in our current times, it now has a name and a label. And it's often praise that we seek. And we're thinking that the praise is kindness and empathy. And we find ourselves easy to get along with. But beneath the surface, it quietly erodes our emotional resilience. It silences our truth. We're going to explore tonight how to approach difficult conversations with self-awareness, emotional regulation, and the courage to not win or dominate, but actually to create a three-way win for ourselves, the other person, the relationship. And I'd even like to introduce a fourth way that you can create a win, and that is for what the relationship will bring in terms of a wider legacy and wider implications of having that three-way win. So for other people, whether it's local, international, national, wherever it is, but I feel that there's actually a fourth win. So it's about being honest and emotionally intelligent. It's about communication that builds resilience rather than resentment. So I'm going to start with some really exploring questions here that are going to touch the very heart of why the pattern is the pattern. So we're going to explore the pattern to begin with. At what point does being nice become emotionally dishonest, Reverend Lydia?
It becomes dishonest actually when we want to say no and we do not do it. When we do not respect ourselves, we are tired, we do not want to do it, and we just seek approval just by saying yes. So, this is when it becomes dishonest. Actually, this is when we should not say yes. That is the way.
You raised something really important there, saying yes when we really mean no. And when I was in corporate, I remember the term, because I was always in management when I was in corporate, and I remember the term, ask a willing horse, and they will do anything. Don't ask the one that slacks off, ask the willing horse, the busy person, ask the one that's most committed, the one that will stay late, the one that will just pick up things that when you drop them and will respond very quickly. And it's that I feel that behavior is an approval-seeking behavior. What are your thoughts about that, Reverend Lydia?
Well, that is for sure, because if we seek approval through our work, through the way we are. So we seek approval. We do not dare to say no. We want to be the nice, kind person that everyone appreciates. But at the same time, it is the opposite that happens. People take over, and we are full of resentment when we are tired, and we have deadlines and the entire thing. So that is it. People do not understand, and they keep on burdening us, and we are the yes woman, the yes man. And the problem is that we have so much to do, actually, that we neglect the important things.
Reverend Lydia, you mentioned something that's very fundamental here, a feeling of resentment. I have been in that situation myself, whether I've said, and I've been the yes woman. I've said, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I will. And it's to please. And it's also, as well, I feel that it's about being asked, that I was important enough for them to ask me, so I'm not going to say no. And so the resentment in doing it, and then actually the praise that I'm getting for doing it. And this will be the same for many people that are people pleasers. I'm much better now than I ever used to be. But that resentment after doing it is because there's very little room for yourself because you've been everything to everyone else. What are your thoughts about that, Reverend Lydia?
Well, my thoughts are like exactly, it is exactly that, like that. When I want to teach someone to stop saying yes all the time, what I do is that I take an imaginary pie and I show them how much space in the pie they have left for them. So I separate the pie in the time they give to themselves and so on and so forth. So they see how little time they give to themselves and how little space they give to themselves.
That's a great analogy, the pie. I love that. The fact that, there's a pie and there's only so much. I wish somebody had presented that to me many years ago. But that's a great analogy to use, how much is left for you. I use something quite similar, is where is the appointment in the diary for you? There's appointments in the diary for everyone else, but where are you in that appointment list in your diary? So, first of all, when a long time ago, when we were, praised, because it was about having praise and being thanked and being felt that we were important. But that was the first inkling of being the people pleaser. But then it was learnt at that point that it was a good thing to be asked to please. What are your thoughts about that in terms of where it was previously, many decades ago, and where it is now?
Well, the thing is that it depends where we are in the family. If we are the eldest, Usually we are the family pleaser. We are the one that actually has to do everything. We have to think about everything. We have to do the chores. We have to do everything. We have to think for our brothers and sisters. So it depends. The family pleaser, the yes woman, yes man is actually usually the eldest one because they have more responsibilities. So it follows them in life. So it depends where you are in the family, usually. That is the way it is. It is explained in psychiatry. Where you are born, your family explains how you are.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wise shares there, and also insightful in terms of the fact that you bring up our social conditioning from childhood. I'm the eldest, one of four children, and very much it was that I was the sensible one, I was the eldest. But sometimes it can be the youngest one, depending on where the family is in the hierarchy and what different children have decided to do. And I also wonder whether it's a fear of rejection as well, in terms of saying yes, because if you say no, that it might create a conflict situation. Do you have any thoughts about that, Reverend Lydia?
Well, saying no, actually, sometimes you say yes because you want to avoid conflict at any cost. If you're in a dysfunctional family, and I'm not talking about your family at all, Caroline. So when someone is from a dysfunctional family, they will tend to say yes a lot more because they do not want any drama. So they will say yes and they will do it, and that is the end of the story because they want to avoid any kind of drama whatsoever. So people that are pleasers actually are people that want peace.
Wise insights, Reverend Lydia, really wise insights, because as you were sharing that, I thought about the peacemaker, and we did do a show on A Woman's Prerogative about the peacemaker. And this is very much in alignment with what the peacemaker does, that they become the people pleaser because they want to avoid conflict, and they seem to have this helicopter view of everything that's going on and want to just make sure that everybody's okay. So some very wise and useful insights there. Thank you. I'm sure that our audience will be very delighted with that insight, because that will also move them to the other show that we did that was about the peacemaker of a family. So where is the line between empathy and emotional self-sacrifice? Do you have any thoughts on that? Just literally before we go to our commercial break.
Well, the line is say no. Say no. That is the line.
It's interesting, isn't it? It can be that quick, and yet we don't consider it. It really can be that quick to say no, and yet there's all sorts of other things going on that move us into saying yes instead of saying no. And I feel that that's a great point and a great segue to go over to our short commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to explore what's going on in the psychology and in the body of the person that is conflicted with saying no and wanting to be a people pleaser. Thank you very much for joining us, whether you're on the live or the replay. Let's go over to our short commercial break. Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. See you back shortly.
Listen, babe, now. 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 Listen, babe, now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Hello and welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative, where we are exploring people pleasing, creating emotional resilience and tough conversations. I am joined with our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia, all the way from Canada. Please do welcome Reverend Lydia. If you're here on the live or the replay and you've missed the first part, please do go back to the first part, because we've had some interesting conversation about what a people pleaser and why the psychology of a people pleaser and what they're really going through while they are pleasing. So let's warmly welcome back our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. Hello. And welcome back.
Hello.
So we left the conversation with me saying that we're going to now explore the emotional toll. What does the emotional toll in terms of chronic people pleasing over time, how does it affect us? And you mentioned about resentment. This is something that will have a very serious effect in terms of how we're feeling, and we're hiding that. But what about other things that will happen in terms of the toll on the body as well as the emotions?
It can go as far as depression. It can go as far as serious nervous breakdowns, actually, because a person can take so much, the body can take so much, the mental can take so much. So the people actually feel stuck in their duties that they took, and they feel guilty, actually, that they cannot act. They are so burdened that they feel guilty that they cannot do everything. So with that guilt, actually what happens is they go in depression, and it takes them weeks to get over it. And the problem is that people do not understand. They say, what's going on with that person? So we only ask this little thing, but we are talking about 70 people ask this little thing. So they do not think that it is that way. They do not think that person has so many obligations. But as I always say, no is a complete sentence.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some extremely good, insightful sharing there. Thank you. For the ones that are people pleasers that are viewing this show and wondering what to do and feeling burdened under the weight of saying yes, because you're unsure of how to say no, you will be surprised if you do say no, how much more respectful conversation you might have in the future. And you're actually saying no to the other person, that you're saying yes to yourself. And that's what I like to consider, that in saying no, you're giving yourself an opportunity to say yes to something that's right for you. And I also feel that there will be a loss of self-trust in this people-pleasing behavior, and it will have a quiet disconnection in relationships, because as you mentioned, Reverend Lydia, that the toll it takes on you, that other people won't notice how it's affecting you until it's too late. So I'd like to think about a reframe, really, so that people aren't feeling so down in the doldrums, especially at our time, our festive season right now, and that as behavior isn't free, it has a hidden emotional cost. And so the saying no is a complete sentence. I love that, Reverend Lydia. I really do love that. Is that behavior has a cost, and so it's okay to say no and be considering of yourself. Now I'm going to turn my attention to looking at the emotional resilience of the body and how it can affect the body in terms of the nervous system. You mentioned about anxiety, about depression, the anxiety that it can build in terms of a person feeling that they can't complete everything, which will bring in the fight flight. Do you have any thoughts to share in terms of clients that you've helped that have been suffering in this way?
Well, some go so far that they have panic attacks. When they are asked to do something, they have panic attacks because they are so scared of saying no that instead they will have a panic attack. And they need medical help. Actually, at that point, they need mental help because they have taken so much. The toll is so high on their body, on their mental, that actually they need help at that time. It is very, very difficult for a person that actually has been raised to always say yes. When they start saying no, people do not understand around them and say, "Oh, what is it? You have changed so much." So the fact is that they are starting to respect themselves, and people do not always like that. So it makes them go as far as panic attacks to respect themselves.
You raise a good point, Reverend Lydia, self-respect. Because if there's no self-respect, then how can others respect you? If you have no consideration for yourself, then whatever you're feeling about yourself or experiencing, you're giving away your power, because if you're not respecting yourself, then how on earth would you expect someone else to be respectful of you and your boundaries? And this is, very nicely bringing us into what is the internal story that we need to rewrite. Reverend Lydia, you've brought up about the fact that this comes from the family, from tradition, from the culture of our raising, of our being brought up. And actually it's more inbuilt because of that cultural upbringing. And so it is important to have ways and strategies and ways that you can almost pause, step back and consider saying no. But what else would you suggest that you could do in terms of just jumping in and saying, yes, I'll do that. Because remember, when you're saying yes, you're saying no to yourself. So do you have any other thoughts? One of the thoughts that I've had is to pause and take a breath before you jump in and quickly say yes, to take a breath and pause.
Well, I have some way that I would say we can say to the person, "I really appreciate the request. You thought about me. It's so kind of you, but my plate is quite full right now. So I have to deny." And we are polite, and they become understanding. And that is saying no, but in a very polite way. So they understand we are too busy. That is all.
That's a great set of words. Say that again, Reverend Lydia. I have enough on my plate with it. What did you exactly say?
I appreciate your request. I appreciate that you asked me. I feel gratitude that you thought about me, but at the same time, my plate is full for the moment, so I have to deny your request. But thank you for thinking about me. So
thank you, Reverend
that
Lydia.
is the way.
People pleasers, please do take note of this brilliant strategy. My plate is full right now. I love it. And that's a really nice way to say yes and say no and decline in a graceful way. It's not saying no, I'm not going to do it because I don't like you. You're saying right at the moment, there isn't any room on my plate. I love it. And to go into a place of grounding, really go into your body rather than it being in your head, going into your body, maybe doing some exercise, or for me, it'd be dancing, doing something that grounds you so you get out of your head so that you become very present to the situation and what is real in terms of what you can and can't do. Because sometimes that ask might be a small ask. So honesty, it can risk rejection or conflict, What are your thoughts about that for the people that they're really avoiding conflict because they don't want the uprising of a confrontational situation. So they don't. That's why they say yes. But what are your thoughts about the fact that it's really a strategy to avoid conflict?
It is a strategy, but at the same time, it is at their price, at their own price. The thing is that they have to understand that they have to prioritize themselves, because it is like choosing. Will you choose someone else over yourself? You will not help yourself, actually, if you choose another person over yourself. You always have to choose yourself first and then serve others. You do an act of service, but you have to start by acting servicing yourself first. Because if you do something and you're not grateful doing it, you're unwilling to do it, you're not being kind by doing it. That is it. If you do something, and I'm not saying become the grumpy old woman or the grumpy old man, but what I say is actually when you actually feel you're doing something out of your heart, that is doing it for the right reasons. But when you do it out of obligation, this is really that when it really starts to go wrong.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. I'm nodding here on the side, agreeing with you. Obligation versus from the heart. When you're coming from the heart, it comes from a place of compassion, gratitude, joy, and that emotion is elevated. And so you will feel good coming from a place of gratitude, genuine gratitude. That's a higher vibration when you're moving in the heart space. But when it's out of obligation, that's from the solar plexus, and that's control and where manipulation resides, and that's where it can cause suffering to everyone, not just the person that feels obligated, but the whole situation. I'd like to, before we close out on our show, and we are almost at the end of our show, I can't believe how quickly it's gone, I'd like to look at the three-way win, where the self has a win, the other person has a win, that the relationship has a win, and also the situation of the wider context of that decision has a win. And I'm thinking about when I've done projects for big conferences where I've got a win out of that project, and the person I'm reporting to has a win because they've got the project done and I've been the willing horse. But then there's been an external win in terms of the wider audience that has participated and enjoyed what's become of the result of that win, and also the relationship as well. And there are many instances where we can have a three-way win. What are your thoughts about a three-way win? I always look at who's going to win. And if there's a win-lose, that's not a good place to sit. I always feel it's wonderful to leave with grace, with kindness, from your heart, and in a place of gratitude. And so often it comes to a place of where there's a disagreement, and then, oh, that didn't work. And I don't like moving into that space where it didn't work and there's a bad feeling. I love to leave where there is grace, gratitude, compassion, love. Do you think I'm mad, or do you think that that's a great way to be?
No, actually, you're doing it the right way, because the thing is that if everyone is satisfied with the project, it is a win-win for everyone. So the thing is that if we actually try to make everyone participate in some kind of way, even if it's in the smallest way, and they feel they have contributed to the act, and they feel that they have gratitude for their implication, that is a win-win for everyone. And it is not always the same one that is tired. So everyone feels they are winning in the situation, and everyone gets out happy with the situation.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some great insightful shares there. So it would make us emotionally resilient by stepping into a place of compassion, kindness, and gratitude. And we say on this show these words many times in different ways, in different instances, and we always come back to compassion in terms of the way that we are thinking and caring about ourselves, as well as kindness to ourselves and to others, and moving to a state of gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. And when we do move into that place, when you are kind to yourself and you are kind to others, that makes everyone move into a place of heart-based, elevated emotions. Reverend Lydia, please do share how viewers can contact you and the best way to contact you.
Okay, they can contact me at 1-514-582-6882 for my programs from my books, 111 Reflection for Thy Earth Odyssey. They can contact me through Amazon for my books also. They can contact me through Facebook, and they can contact me also through my LinkedIn account, and greatdivinemother@gmail.com. So they can contact me in all those ways, and they can go at etsy.com to buy the Miracle Mist and also the Perfect Mate Incense. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. Always an absolute pleasure to share this stage, this platform with you. We always have some extremely insightful conversations. It's always an absolute pleasure because I think we both think fairly similar. Anyway,
Yes, we do.
For me, you can contact me on email, nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call if you're international, +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. You can also follow and connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are my two preferred forms of connection. And you can also find all of my details on the YouTube shows. So if you look at the description, my details and Reverend Lydia's details are in the show description. So to conclude, we've been exploring stop people pleasing, creating emotional resilience in tough conversations. Emotional resilience isn't about avoiding, and it isn't about avoiding the discomfort or conflict. It's learning how to stay present inside when we stop people pleasing. We become more honest, emotionally available in our difficult conversations. When they're handled with self-reflection, compassion, we will reveal relationships built on trust rather than built on fear. A three-way win. We will grow in wisdom. Emotional resilience isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned with your true authenticity. You can be kind, honest, and emotionally resilient without sacrificing yourself. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been our absolute pleasure. Reverend Lydia and myself really do warmly thank you for listening in at this show, whether you're on the live or the replay. Stop people pleasing, creating emotional resilience in tough conversations. Thank you very much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you next week at the same time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And now over to our sponsors. Before we do that, I want to give a very big thank you for Reverend Lydia for being absolutely her wonderful, amazing, insightful self, and to Dr. Jacqueline for the wonderful whizzy effects behind the scenes. And remember to pick up your book, Broadcasting Brilliance, which gives you the details, the structure, and what Dr. Jacqueline did to create this amazing channel. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful festive week. Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye for now, and over to our sponsors.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.